our real world rule of money for today has to do with taxes. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, or you've been directed to this elsewhere, or you're just watching the archive video, it may not be tax time when you're watching this, but it will be tax time sometime this year or next year, depending on when you're watching it. But live, it is April 11th. And so people are, scrambling like crazy, get their taxes done. And this was something that I learned trying to help a business owner about 10 years ago, that literally when I told him this, he actually cried because he didn't know that this was the case. And so when I told him this, it really was a sigh of relief, because he was about to swipe a credit card that he would have been charged 11% interest on. So when it comes to taxes, you hear that, you got to file on time, you got to pay on time, because if you don't, there's, just massive taxes or massive penalties and interest, and it's just like this horrible, horrible thing that will happen. And so this business owner asked me, what's going to happen? Where can I get some money from to pay my taxes, because I really don't want to swipe this credit card. So I start researching. I call some CPAs that I knew, and in the research that I found is, yes, there's interest, and that's a different thing we'll talk about in a second. But then there's two penalties, IRS penalties, for either failing to file or failing to pay. And you would think, as a business owner, if you had an invoice, an outstanding invoice, or you needed someone to create the invoice to tell you how much they owed, that the penalty, you would think, would be more on the money that they owe if they didn't pay you than it would be just filing a piece of paper that says how much they owe you. But that's how it works with taxes. And so you have the failure to file penalty that's 5% of the outstanding amount that's owed per month. If you have money owed to you from the government, that's totally different. And these fees are way lower, if not completely gone, if they owe you money and you fail to file. Or fail, well, obviously not fail to pay because they're paying you, but if you fail to file and they owe you, that's a different conversation. But if you owe money in taxes, like this business owner did, he owes money in taxes, he doesn't file his taxes, they take the outstanding amount, and they charge him 5% per month of the outstanding amount. So if it was like $10,000, then they're going to charge him $500 per month that he doesn't file his return. If he does file his return, and by the way, the max is up to 25%. So they will charge you failure to file if you go, I guess that would be what, 5 months? Without filing, they will charge you 5% per month up to a maximum of 25% of the outstanding amount that you owe as a penalty, an IRS penalty. Okay, but let's say that the business owner files. He files on time. Let's say he's got a corporation, so he files that by March 15th, right on time. Then come April 15th, April 15th, he files his personal return on time, but he doesn't have the money to pay. And that's the story of this guy that I was meeting with. He didn't have the money to pay. So as long as he files, he avoids the bigger penalty of 5% per month, but failing to pay, the interest is only 0.5% per month of the outstanding balance. So especially if he's looking at swiping a credit card at 12% versus 0.5% per month, even if he went an entire year, the interest that he's charged is 6% total. Now, there is a payment schedule that would need to be made, but maybe the business owner has some outstanding invoices, and he's going to have the money in a month, month and a half, or something like that, and he can just pay it all off. Okay, I'm not saying pay later. I'm not giving tax advice. I'm just talking about how it works, how a failure to file penalty works. how the failure to pay penalty works, the difference between the two. But then also, this is not talking about any interest that may be charged on the outstanding balance that we have. So obviously the best thing to do, file on time, pay on time. But if for whatever reason, we always have things that come up and we do our best to do our best with everything that we can do, knowing that it's 5% per month to failure to file, 0.5% per month failure to pay. Happy tax day. And that is our real world rule of money for today.